It isn't often that I put out videos lambasting members of the Catholic hierarchy, and for good reason. A wise priest that I knew once stated to me that we want to resist doing so unless we are absolutely certain that it's necessary. And I knew that this video was necessary after having a recent conversation with a good and faithful Catholic that I know who could not understand why placing the exterminating of innocent humans who are desperately seeking the light of day and something like capital punishment into the same category is a problem. Now, you won't find a video like this or a whole lot of discussion like this from really any Catholic-led organization in the state of Illinois. And there's a reason for that. It's because a lot of these organizations are very dependent upon the Archdiocese's blessing so that they can continue to raise money and do the work that they do, which is essentially good work. So I'm not naming any names here, and these organizations will have to determine for themselves what risks they are willing to take. Now, what we're talking about here, if you haven't heard already, is a recent event which involved Cardinal Cupich of Chicago and his giddiness over presenting an award to the lapsed Catholic Senator Durbin of Illinois at the Keep Hope Alive event in Chicago. Now, the ironic title of this event couldn't be more disturbing due to the fact that Senator Durbin has a strange fascination with the anti-Catholic position of offering up undesired infants. At the same time, the disgraced senator isn't shy about pretending to be a practicing Catholic.
Let me ask you this question. I'm a product of 19 years of Catholic education, and every once in a while, Holy Mother of the Church has not agreed with a vote of mine.
And while this isn't surprising in itself, Cardinal Cupich's willingness to honor a senator like Senator Durbin for promoting lawlessness at the U.S. border is quite scandalous. Now, after this whole event gained the attention of several Catholic organizations in Illinois and even many good bishops who respectfully rebuked the disgraced Cardinal of Chicago, ironically, it was the apostate senator who recently elected to not receive the Cardinal's award, most likely to not continue to build the scandal that had already received national attention. And I'd personally say that the only real victory in this abomination being terminated is the fact that a greater segment of Catholics and others have been forced to see what type of man Cardinal Cupich really is.
Honoring a public figure who has actively worked to expand and entrench the right to end innocent human life in the womb undermines the very concept of human dignity and solidarity that the award purports to uphold.
But since our confused cardinal is doing such a stellar job of destroying his reputation all on his own, this video isn't meant to simply be another rebuke of Cardinal Cupich, who I have no doubt will continue to go on for years promoting heresy and scandal. It wasn't just a few months ago that Cardinal Cupich offered a rather strange pagan prayer outside of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, while the planned destruction of Parenthood Incorporated organization performed an act of genocide in their bubblegum RV outside.
Parenthood Mobile Clinic. They have set one up just outside the United Center, and they won't just be handing out T-shirts and bumper stickers. They're actually going to be offering free abortion medication, inflatable IUDs, and vasectomies. News Nation's Kelsey Kernstein joining us live outside the United Center with more on this. The pro-life groups, Kelsey, they're pretty outraged by this show from Planned Parenthood outside.
Hey there, Marnie. Good morning. Yeah, I've spoken to some of these pro-life groups. They tell me they're absolutely furious that Planned Parenthood would have a mobile clinic here during the DNC.
You are the source of every blessing that graces our lives and our nation. We pray that you help us to truly understand and answer the sacred call of citizenship. We are a nation composed of every people and culture, united not by ties of blood, but by the profound aspirations of life, and freedom, justice and unbound hope. These aspirations are why our forebears saw America as a beacon of hope. And with your steady guidance, Lord, may we remain so today.
What I'd like to focus on in this video is the justification that Cardinal Cupich used to disgrace his office by promoting the lapsed Catholic senator. Now, this would be none other than the seamless garment theory, a theory which most Catholics have either never heard of or don't understand, but they need to, because if they didn't, it would prove very difficult to explain with any clarity why the cardinal's promotion was manifestly sinful and heretical. The seamless garment essentially creates an umbrella over what you might call human concerns, and would include feeding the hungry, aiding the homeless, and caring for the elderly. Now, these are all fine things, but like any strategy crafted in hell, there's always a catch. Now that we've placed the same necessity upon giving out gift cards to those who've entered the United States through tunnels, along with closing down certain clinics that pretend to support parenting while actually erasing innocent humans from the planet, one is justified in focusing on some human concerns while ignoring others. You might even say that caring for our neighbor is all relative. But of course, this is irrational, because we know that even a person who lives in poverty does have the opportunity to live. And even a migrant who isn't given a handout has a chance to improve his situation. But a human being who is dependent upon a mother and father and society to not impede upon their God-given right to live has no chance to defend their obvious desire to live. This can best be proven by examining nations who have the most poverty and disease and worst medical care. If being poor was just as bad as not living, then certainly we ought to see many in African countries chomping at the bit to have the easiest access to elective, life-ending procedures. And yet, the opposite is true. It is people like the lapsed Catholic Melinda Gates and groups like the United Satanic Nations who feverishly push for life-ending methods to be abundant in African countries, while the African people largely ignore and even resist these perverse efforts.
Just to point out that about 80% of the African countries actually don't have legal abortion. And they don't have legal abortion not because they can't legalize abortion. We all have parliaments, we have governments that can go through the process of legalizing abortion. But actually, an overwhelming majority of the African people continue to reject abortion, even as surveys. I think Pew Research had done a survey a couple of years ago and found out, in some countries as high as 90-something% of the people still continue to reject the idea of legalized abortion.
You see, the seamless garment theory is just true enough to confuse millions of people into believing that they can choose what moral lens they wish to use to view evil. In fact, this point was made quite clear when Cardinal Bernardine of Chicago first developed the seamless garment theory decades ago. The Australian philosopher John Finnis pointed out that there is in fact a Christian moral responsibility to carefully assess how the death penalty is administered and how migrants are cared for. But unlike both of these, protecting the life of an unborn child is a moral absolute, without any room for nuance. And in a society that has been trained to be comfortable at every moment, it should be of no surprise that most people would choose a morality that is most comfortable, least controversial, and the most politically correct, even though it might not be the most true. Do you find it hard to overlook Cardinal Cupich's willingness to claim Senator Durbin as a champion of human rights? I do. Well, there's something that you can do about it that, let's say, has more teeth than signing an endless stream of petitions. Maybe it's time to assess where your donations are actually going. Is there a way for you to donate to your parish that goes directly to it instead of being taxed by the Archdiocese? Is it time to consider supporting a traditional Catholic religious order or other good cause until a truly holy cardinal restores sanity in Chicago? Is it time to ask your pastor if he's on board with Team Seamless Garment? Someone once told me that if a Catholic finds himself quite often too comfortable, he may want to take a good look at what he's not doing. Now, I have no doubt that this video will terminate my ability to speak at Catholic parishes throughout the Archdiocese of Chicago, something that I've done for many years, but I felt that it was worth the cost. And I hope that this video will help you to speak the truth about the seamless garment ambiguity, something that continues to corrupt even those who've seemingly devoted their entire lives to God. May God bless you.